Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Georgiana again, coming to you from Expressions Craft Studio. And I was going to make a joke about being the cranky crafter, but I don't really have a reason to be cranky today. I wanted to show you this card. Now, I was going to make one for Father's Day, and I never did. My father has been gone since I was, since 1976. And my father-in-law has been gone for probably 5 years maybe, so I don't really have any reason to make one. I don't have any sons or anything like that, so but I've been wanting to play with this steampunk theme. I love the way this stuff looks. I'm not the best at it, but I do love it. So fortunately I had a pad of paper. Let me find it. Oh, here it is. It is an oldie but a goodie from DCWB Tattered Time, and this I believe was from 2011. Now you may have one of these rolling around. They may still make it, I don't know, but it's got a lot of really awesome papers in here. A lot of them are glossy, including the one I used. They have embossing on them, but there's just a lot of fabulous kind of guy type images, which, you know, I struggle with. I don't know about you. I'm more into flowers and butterflies and hummingbirds and that kind of thing, so I do struggle with this, but it's a great paper pad if you can still get it, or if you happen to have it. It comes in grays and browns and even blacks. So let me see here. Let me zoom out. Zoom out means pinch. There we go. So there's the sheets that are in there. Like I said, I don't know if they still make it, but you can also get digital images from Creative Fabrica. I found a lot of steampunk images on there, and I know that there are other people. Design Bundles has them. There are others, they're just not coming to mind right now, but for minimal subscription you can also always download, and with the right type of printer you can even print on cardstock. I wouldn't, well, actually mine will print on the heavier cardstock, 100 pound or 110 pound, but not all of them will, so you do need to know the limitations of your printer. So I used one sheet out of there, out of that paper pad, and I still have this much of it left. I took a little bit of the corner off here, but it measures 6 by 7.5, so I've still got a nice chunk left over from that. I also dug into my scrap bin and pulled out these metallic pieces of cardstock that I had used on something else. So I have a bright copper and then a gold color, and so I used those to cut the gears out. Now I didn't cut the gears out with my Cricut, and this is a Cricut freebie, by the way. I forgot to say that. It is, I'll put the link to my Facebook page below, and you'll find the link in there for this card. Now I do want to give credit, because I don't know about you guys, but I watch a lot of YouTube, and I've saved those videos, the craft videos of things I want to make, and I save them and save them and save them, and I almost never go back and look at them. And I decided yesterday, because I was kind of in a lull, wasn't really sure what I wanted to work on, and I thought, you know what, this is a good day to go grab one of those videos. And it was actually the day before yesterday, because it took me a day to design it and then a day to cut it out and put it together, and so this is where we are. So 3 days ago, I guess. But anyway, I decided I'm going to start going through those videos like I've wanted to do for a while. I'm going to start making these projects. Now, I have said before, and if you've watched me for a while, so thank you to my longtime subscribers, my regular viewers in particular, you know that I can't seem to cut straight, I can't draw straight, I can't score straight. I'm guessing I don't see straight. I don't know. But it's an issue for me. So I like to do these things with my Cricut. I have it. I have all the tools to do these manually, the score boards and the different ways to cut your cardstock. But honestly, for me, the easiest and the best way for me is to do it with my Cricut. And I'm not trying to sell you a Cricut. You may have had one and decided you didn't like it. I wasn't a real fan of mine at first, mostly because of Design Space, but I've stuck with them for almost 15 years now, maybe longer than that, and they've come a long way. They still have their idiosyncrasies, everybody does, but I've really come to figure out what I can and can't do with it. Intricate cuts is always a problem for me. I have better luck on vinyl than I do with cardstock, but when it comes to cardstock, if it's something intricate, I'll look for a die. But you can only buy so many and store so many dies, and I've got way too many of those as it is. However, that is what I used for these wonderful different gear cutouts that I used on the metallic paper or cardstock. But what I wanted to say was this design, now I've seen several people do this, but the video that I first came to that I had saved was from Julie Sue's Stamping, and this was what she calls the impressive pop-up card. You know what, I think I loaded, yeah, with a twist. Okay, the impressive pop-up card with a twist, except I don't think this is the one with a twist. But anyway, I'll link her channel and the video that I watched below. But I did recreate this in Design Space, and another thing I like about doing that, and I'm sorry if I'm all over the map here, I didn't really have a game plan. I just decided, I was just making the card, I wasn't even recording, and I thought, well, I should record this. So, but the thing I like about using my Cricut and Design Space is once I've set up that file to cut, it's set up. I can recut it as many times as I want, and I don't have to worry about getting my measurements correct or getting my score lines in the right place or getting my cut lines straight. So that's why I like to use my Cricut now. There is certainly nothing wrong with doing it the way she does it. Lots of people do it. She is a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. They're very well versed in their tools and how to use them. I've used tools from them and other people, and I know that I struggle with getting things straight. So to limit my frustration, I just set up the file. Sometimes it takes me a few minutes, and sometimes it takes me a couple hours. She gave most of the dimensions for the basic body of the card, so I didn't have to work too hard for that. But it's a cute little card, and I wanted to share it with you. So I do share my files for free. I have a Patreon. I've never used it. I've never set anything on there for sale. I have a Ko-Fi. I have sold a few of my, well, actually, I think they've all been free. I don't think I've sold anything. Some of my graphic images I've shared on there. But mostly I just share it for the joy of crafting, because I love crafting. So, to make a long-winded story a little shorter, I used her measurements, and I set this file up, or this card up, mostly the way she did. Now obviously I've used a different theme, and you can certainly do that with whatever designer series paper, DSP as they call it, or designer cardstock. If you're using a lot of thick cardstocks, it will get a little stiff. Like this here doesn't really want to fold. I've used a lot of thick cardstocks, and so I get a little bit of a resistance when I try to fold it. But as you can see, it pops up really nicely. It stands up on its own, and this, I think, is the twist she was referring to. She added a flap to the back so you could write your message and it still be kind of hidden. Sometimes you write stuff that's a little mushy or a little private. You don't necessarily want to share it with the whole office or the whole family or whoever. So you have the ability to write. Now, you don't have to cover both of these. I chose to, but you certainly don't have to. I used a cream colored thinner cardstock, 65-pound cardstock, and then I did use Distress ink, Distress Oxide, the black soot from Tim Holtz on the edges, just to kind of get everything to blend together. I used some more of those dies that I cut, or die cut gears that I used, and layered those up in a in a cute design. She did do hers differently though. She took her flap, which is under here, and she flipped it over the back. I didn't like that aesthetically as much as just gluing it to the back. You can do it however. I'm not going to remake the video showing you how to put the card together. She's already done a fantastic job. So you can certainly watch her video. But I love the fact that there's plenty of room to write, and I had some ideas about what you might use this card for. So my first idea was like a retirement card for somebody who's been with a company for a long time. And the other ideas I had were a happy birthday or happy Father's Day. As I mentioned earlier, I didn't do Father's Day this year. I meant to. I just got busy with other things and didn't get around to it. So initially I had found these old index cards. They're 5x8 of all things. They were my mother's, I think. And I decided I was going to print my sentiments on there. And I used some steampunk fonts, couple different ones, and a tulle font. Oh, it's right up here. I don't know if you can see it very well. I went with this, well, I like the steampunk fonts better because they kind of go with the theme, but even though I set the printer up, it didn't print it on the card, so I don't know what's going on with that. I just decided to try it again, and then it came out, because even though it was set to the manual tray, it came out on 8.5 by 11 paper. So I ended up with a whole sheet of these sayings, and I ended up choosing one. Now the one I chose, you might not be able to read it very well. It says, "Happy birthday, son." And I did, since I used my laser printer, I did foil this. However, I wish I had chosen the bright gold foil instead of this pearl light gold foil. It doesn't really show up, and this is a really cheap, like dollar store copy paper, so it's really thin. If I had known it was going to print out on 8.5 by 11, I would have put in some of my quality thicker copy paper, but I didn't. So it not only is it really thin, it didn't foil very well. I don't know if you can see that black spot there. Yeah, there's quite a few of them where the foil didn't take. And even though I, tried to brush it clean with my dusty brush from Nancy Stamps, it didn't work well. So that's another reason I would have used a more quality, larger paper if I'd known it was going to beat me to the punch and not print out on my 5x8 cardstock. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So then I took a piece of this cream colored cardstock that I have had forever. This is from Michaels. It's their 65-pound cardstock, and I cut myself a little shape, and then I used it's supposed to be a corner punch from Stampin' Up. I'm sorry, I'll think of it here in a minute. But because it wasn't very wide, it ended up making a point, which is okay. I don't hate that. And then I used a different corner punch around the corners because, steampunk is all about pipes and gears, so there's curves and angles and all of that. And then I wanted, since I already had it, I thought I'd try and use it. I'm not sure I will now. I think I'll just redo it. But I took this and used various Distress Oxide inks to color first the paper and then the cardstock to make it darker. Let me see. See that? That's what it looks like on the back. And I thought I would put this on here, but again, I'm not in love with it. So I'm not going to use this one, but this is where I would have put it, so it would have sat right there. And I do like this piece. I just don't like the top piece, and I did tear the edges on that, and then I inked around that too. So I used Vintage Photo and Walnut Stain to ink those, and then I used a little bit of black soot around the edges of my cardstock here because, as you can see, I think you can see, it's a white core, and for some reason I felt like that really popped out on this black background for this piece. So I did ink it with the white, and then I inked all the others as well, so just to kind of knock that sharp bright white down. But anyway, I think it's cute. I really like it. I had some gears left over, so I thought I'd stick some on the inside, and you could even decorate more on the back if you want. I will probably, when I come up with a sentiment that I like, I will take some of these extra pieces of gears and put them on there somewhere. Let's see here. Let me zoom in. And I'll just lay them something like that right there. So, I don't know why that is so dark. Let me lift it up. So, something like that. Anyway, I just wanted to share this with you. Like I said, I will link, who did I say? Julie Sue. I will link her video below so that if you do want to make this, you can grab my free file from the Facebook group, which will also be linked below, and then you can go to her video and watch the construction. I believe I've got everything accounted for except for the sentiment here, and of course the dies now, or the gears. I used dies that I have, but if you have a premium or an access subscription to Cricut Design Space, just search for die or gears in there. I don't know why I keep calling them dies. You search for gears and they've got all kinds of them. In fact, let's go over there real quick. Okay, so this is, first of all, this is the file. I've labeled the pieces the way she refers to them in her video. Here's the card base, which is the Z-fold, the DSP cover mats, which will go over here. Here's your pop-up pieces that go to the front of the card, and then the cover mats for those pop-up pieces. Here's the two back pieces, or let me see, wait a minute. No, this is the front pieces, and then this is the back flap. And I only have one of the layers here. I use two, so you can add a second one if you want to do that. But here's her information below. Like I said, I will link it below. And back to the gears, how to find those if you have an access subscription, and you will need it to find them, I'm pretty sure. Yes, you will. So you would go to images, and then up here you would type in gears, or gear. You could leave the S off if you want, just to make it a little simpler. We'll give you a slightly different selection. If you hit advanced search over here, it'll pop it up into a bigger window, which hopefully we're seeing. Yes, we are. So there's all your gears, and you can choose how you want those, which ones you want, how you're going to cut those out. Depending on the size, if they're really small, they might give you a little bit of trouble, but for the most part, I'd say they probably would cut very well. Now, if you're having problems cutting them, you could use vinyl. And then just stick it right on. Yeah, so let's see. Oops. Let's go back to work surface. So you would cut out your vinyl decals with your shiny metallic vinyl, and you would just stick them right on. So you could use vinyl. Now you wouldn't want to hang them off the edge like I've done with a couple of these pieces, but you could do it that way. The other thing you can do is, if you don't have metallic cardstock, if you have embossing powders and an embossing gun, you can just put your embossing medium. Let's see, what do I have? I've got, oh, I can't think of it. My brain is just fried. Versamark. You put your Versamark on top of the die, and then put your powder on it, and then heat it up. And that's another way you can achieve this kind of shiny metallic look. Or you may even have in your stash some little gears. People use them to decorate all kinds of things. So you may have some thin little metal gears if you check your stash. I don't have any, but I do have the dies, so that's what I did. So this is my card. I've taken way too long to explain it and go over it. So thanks for sticking with me. And I mean, you could even just leave it like that and write your message this way, but that feels weird, so it does probably need to go that way. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. The only thing I would have done differently is I would have allowed a little bit, maybe used a thinner cardstock on the back somewhere. I don't know, just because it's a little thick. So it will require extra postage, I'm sure, if it gets mailed. But like I said, I loved it. So I'm not going to put the sentiment on it today. I will share with you some of the other sentiments that I came up with. We've got "It's time to say farewell, enjoy your retirement," and that's just normal different text, or different fonts, but normal text. Then I did this one here with the tools. I've got It's Time with the steampunk, same as above, except I did that in the steampunk font, which works two different ways, by the way. All caps gives you this dark font. Oh, here, let's show you on this one. And small letters gives you the outline font. I did take and bold the outline font. You can see the difference here. See how much thicker that is versus this one? And I just wanted to see what it looked like. But anyway, so, you know, just different fonts, which I get most of mine from Creative Fabrica, but I've been collecting for years, so I've got them from a lot of different places. Happy Father's Day, Dad, in the steampunk. Happy Birthday, Dad. Happy Birthday, Daddy, from a little kid. Happy Birthday, Old Timer. Happy Father's Day, Old Timer. Happy Father's Day, Granddad, and Happy Birthday, Granddad. So I think what I will also do is I cannot share it on the Facebook page, I don't think. Well, maybe I can. I'll see. If I can, I will, and if not, I will upload this to Ko-Fi and make it free, so you can go in there and download it, and the link for that is below as well. And then you can print it out now, and what you do with it there, I mean, I just ask that you don't try and sell it or anything, but you can certainly use it for all of your projects or projects you sell. Just don't sell the digital image. So anyway, guys, that's it for today. You know what, I might even cut out some letters. Oh, now I've got it. Okay, hang on. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get one of my alphabet die sets and cut out letters and just put Dad on there or something like that, just to see, or, you know, whatever, but just to see what it'll look like. And I'll use some of my scraps, probably black, or I still have some of these metallic scraps. I just put the bigger pieces away. So yeah, that's an idea, since I was not happy at all with that. Anyway, guys, I've just rambled for another 2 minutes, so I'm going to let you go. But like I said, please let me know what you think of this. I think it's really cute, and I'm so glad I made it. I'm going to continue going through my videos and replicating some of them. I found another one from, oh my goodness, forgot her name already. Oh, let me get out of here. Let's see here. I want to say Peggy Sue. It's Julie Sue. So I do have another video of hers that I want to make, and I've got others. I've got some from Sam Calcott. Again, she's one of those people who does everything by hand. She does have dies. I shouldn't say that. She sells her own, designs her own dies and stuff, but she makes some really great cards too. Now, she's in the UK. Their cards are generally bigger than our 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which is what this is when it's folded down, is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. It looks bigger. I'm not sure why. And I've got other people too, you know, who've made some great cards, and I want to make them just because. And so I'll be doing that, but not all the videos are card making or paper crafting. Some of them are jewelry making, kumihimo. I've got a bunch of clay ones. I'm kind of starting to get interested in doing that again. So the paper beads, I've really enjoyed making those, but I've got more paper beads now than I'll ever be able to use. So unless I find a way to get rid of them, I don't know what I'll do with them. But again, I want to thank y'all for watching me. Thank you to, again, my new subscribers. I'm so happy you joined us. And if there's something in particular you want to see, if I can help you with that, I certainly will. And to my old subscribers, I appreciate you sticking around with me. I know this probably hasn't been the smoothest journey, but it's been fun, at least for me. So until next time, guys, I hope you have a happy, crafty day.